graphical method for solving, the game theory problems. One of the prerequisite for game theory problem to be solved using graphical method is one of its dimensions should be 2. Say it's an m cross, if it is an n cross n matrix, then one of the dimensions should be 2. Right? It could be either the column or it could be the row wise or something like that. Right? So that's why in the previous class we talked about m cross 2 problem, where we have got number of rows but only 2 columns. Right? So the player B strategy is only 2, whereas player A can have a multiple strategy. So finite strategy. So we can solve using graphical method. The reason we emphasize one of the dimensions should be 2 is that we will be mapping it in a Cartesian coordinate system. When x and y we have got only 2 systems or 2 differences, something like that. Or in other sense, like we'll be using p1 and 1 minus p strategy. So we'll be mapping it. So it is mandatory to have one dimension must be 2, right? Something like that. But in the previous class, we talked about m cross 2 matrix. In this lecture, we'll be focusing on the other way around. So we'll have a number of columns, but row will be restricted to only 2. So that is something like a 2 cross n problem, something like that. I'll go through it. So this is a 2 cross n problem. So n can be a finite set, like 1 to k. K is a finite set. Right? Have number of columns or something like that, right? So in this example, we have got player A and player B. Player B has got 4 strategies, plus player A only have 2 strategies. So that's why we are restricting the rows to 2, like A1 and A2. Then player can be player B has B1, B2, B3, and B4, right? So in this case, number of rows which is less than number of columns. So that's why number of rows is 2, columns are 4 in numbers. So which means it's a minimization problem. And let's focus on how to be solve that, right? So in this case, first we will be labeling the rows and columns. Then once it is done, this is A1 and A2 gets written like P and 1 minus P. Remember, this is a tricky part in a maximization case where the number of rows is greater than number of columns, which is a maximization problem. We have labeled B1 and B2 as P and 1 minus P. Right. Say, you can call this T, 1 minus T, whatever might be, but this is what we could able to keep the rotation. Right. So in this case, when A is greater than B, the least will get P1 and 1 minus P. Same way, this is the 2 cross n problem, in which the rows are lesser than the columns. So the row A1 and A2 will get the label P and 1 minus P. So that's the important thing that you should know. If you cannot get this to be P1 minus P because there's a 4 entity, so only the 2 entity will get P and 1 minus P, right? So keep that in mind, right? So number of B strategy is number of columns, which is 4. So which means we'll have got B1, B2, B3, and B4, right? So far the procedure is fairly the same. So we've been discussing this from the beginning, right? So then we will be looking into A's pure strategy, right? So in previous case we talked about A's pure strategy, A1, A2, A3, A4, and A5. Here we have got B strategy. We have got only 4 columns. Then we'll be finding out A's pure strategy. So how do we find out this? 4P plus 6 into 1 minus P. I repeat, 4P plus 6 into 1 minus P, right? So B1, that is B1, right? Then B2 is 3P plus 5 into 1 minus P. I repeat, 3P plus 5 into 1 minus P for B2, right? Then B3, 5P plus 3 into 1 minus P. So that's what here. Then B4 is 7P plus 2 into 1 minus P. So we have got this particular stuff. When you simplify this, 4p plus 6 minus 6p is minus 4 minus 6 and minus plus 4 is minus 2. So minus 2p plus 6. Then 3p plus 5p minus 5p. I'm sorry, 3p plus 5 minus 5p, which is 3p minus 5p is minus 2p and plus 5p. Then 5p plus 3 minus 3p is 5 minus 3 is 2. So 2p positive 2p plus 3. Then 7p plus 2 minus 2p is 7 minus 2 is 5. Then 5p plus 2. Right. So all the strategies are simplified and put it here. Right. Next step is to find out the value of this thing when p equals to 0 and p equals to 1. So p equals to 0 is the 0 probability or something, and p is equal to 1 is the maximum probability or something. Right. So when p equals to 0, when you put this entire term becomes 0, this will become positive 6. And same way, when this becomes 0, it will become positive 5. And same way, even this becomes 0, this will be 3. And when this becomes 0, this will be 2, right? And p equals to 1. So when p equals to 1, it is 2 minus 2 into 1 is minus 2 plus 6. 6 minus 2 is 4, right? Then when p equals to 1, at this case is minus 2 into 1 is minus 2. Minus 2 plus 5 is plus 3, right? Then p equals to 1 here. Then 2 into 1 is 2. 2 plus 3 is 5. And when p equals to 1 for this is 5 into 1 plus 2. It is 5 plus 2 is 7, right? So that's how it is something. In color, we have got this four, color sticks, then that will be using for making the graph, right? So here, luckily, we don't have any negative term. So the minimum is 2, the maximum is 7. So out of this, the minimum is 2, the maximum is 7. So both falls in the same criteria, right? As I told you, it's not something mandatory, but it's I prefer just add 1 to it so that your graph does not finish here. Like for example, 7, no. If you have some value in 7, then probably you can see this the edge, no. So your graph does not cut abruptly, so we'll have got something called 1 extra. So the maximum is 7, so 7 plus 1 is 8. So you'll label 8 here. Then we don't have minimum is 2 actually. So you could have stopped here. It is not plus 3, 1. Could have cut at 1 itself, but to show 0, I just made it clear. So this entire region is maximization region, and we don't. We don't have anything called minimization region. Right. So that's one of the tricky part here. So minimization region will be somewhere here. It has no significance. That's what I'm saying. It's not. I'm not saying it's not there. It's has got no significance or something like that. And this is maximization region. Right. Next step is once you make this graph, we will be plotting this graph. So this is a very important point. Like just kindly pay attention. This is B1, 6 and 4. When this top edge is this particular number. So 6 and 4. That is B1, right? Then B2, the red color line is 5 and 3. I'll say 5, 5 and 3. So the top line represents that particular number, right? 5 and 3. And the next one, B3 is 3 and 5. So this is 3 and this is 5. Good thing. Then the B4 is 2 and 7. 2 and 7, right? So that's how it is. We have mapped, right? So let's take a quick look at the previous problem, which is the M cross 2 problem. In this graph, we have got one intersection here. and this edge is not generally considered as an intersection. So it's removed or discarded. One intersection, prominent, right? So we have no choice. We bound to this thing, and we have solved that problem, right? But for this case, you can see there are many intersections, like one here, and one here. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 intersection. I'll show you here. Right? So intersection here, this blue color and green color line. So I'll just remove this background for a moment. Or yeah, so you can see green color and blue color as an intersection, and orange color and blue color line has an intersection. Then red color line and green color line has an intersection. Then orange and green has an intersection. Then orange and red has an intersection. So totally there are 5 intersections. I can zoom this to right. So now we need to find out the optimal point, which is the value of the gain impact. That's the intersection, right? So how do we find out that is? Can take probably some line and we start to some color which we have not used. Say black. Yeah, here that's some perfect line. Okay, so yeah, so this is it's perfect. Yeah, it gets this. Right. So this is just like the ISO objective line in our linear programming problem, right? So what you do is you draw that with the center of this particular thing perpendicularly. Then you can another line, center of it, something like that. Right. Then draw another line, which is the drawing center of this, and we draw another line center of this, and we draw another line center of all right. So probably now you got an idea, like uh, which pointers towards the 0, right? um, in this case, this is probably towards the 0, right? Something like that. And this pointers towards 0, and this something like that. But one thing is that in a minimization region, we'll be taking at the points that is probably you know towards the in the maximization we consider a problem which is probably I can see the decision row in number of intersection there, and select one which is least moving towards 0 in the open space or in a maximization space. Right. So in a minimization problem, we'll be looking into the point that is extremizes here, like which is something uh, the value of it will be pretty low or something like that. But if you take this, then the value of this is pretty high. Something, right? You see, the this is pretty heavy, like this green color. I'll remove this. So this intersection is the maximum. So that's what it means. Like when B strategy is more than A strategy, which is number of columns is more than number of rows. Check for intersection of lines in the open space in the minimization region. Since we don't have minimization region, so we have taken that the maximization, the intersections. And this is the one, the blue and green. So the blue and the green line, the intersection, that is B1 and B4. So that will be our optimal decision, right? If more number of intersection presents, then we need to take one that is moving away from zero. That is this, the maximum point. So we have just considered that B1 and B4, right? So this will be our strategy. So A1 and A2 is constant, just a two strategy, but B1 and B4 and the remaining strategies are zero, like B2 and B3 or zero, right? So then we can perform this row minima, this maximum and minimax approach to find out the value of the game, right? So this is pretty common thing that we have used. In the last class, we talked about another method, so we'll discuss that as well before the end of the class, right? So the first one is like this maximum and minimum minimax approach. This is the value from the given problem, B1 and B4, not zero. This is two actually. It's a typo, right? So 4, 6, and 7, 2, right? That's why we have got 4, 6, and 7, 2. And the minimum of this is 4, so 4 here, and minimum of this is 2, 2, and maximum of this minimum is 4, and maximum of this is 6, maximum of this is 7, so minimum of this is 6, so it is a mixed strategy, right? There's no pure strategy. Then we need to find out using this formula. P1, when you find P1, 1 minus P1 is P2, then Q1, and 1 minus Q1 is Q2, then value of the game is the problem. And this is in terms of decimal, and this is in terms of fraction, right? So this is our value of the game, right? The another method we talked about in the previous class is that, like B1 and B4, A1 and A2, 4, 6, 7, 2, and the absolute difference is 3, and absolute difference is 4, and absolute difference of the column 1 is 2, and absolute difference of the column 2 is 5. And both add up to 7, and these column wise and row wise add up to 7. So this is a very interesting thing. So this will be our overall value. To convert this into fraction, we'll divide 4, the other number, by 7. To divide this into fraction, we'll convert 3. I mean, we take 3 divided by 7. So that's the thing. So P1 and P2, without using the formula, this formula, we have got P1 is 4 by 7 and P2 is 3 by 7. So we can see P1 is 4 by 7 and P2 is 3 by 7. Right. And A1 is 4 by 7 and A2 is 3 by 7. Right. Then Q, which is the B1 and B4 strategy. Right. Say B, B2 and B3. Right. So the final outcome of this graphical method, right? So 2 plus 5 is 7. So to make this fraction, we divide 5 by 7. So this is 5 by 7. And to make it fraction, this is 2 by 7. So both add up to 1. So the sum of the probabilities equals to always equals to 1. So that's what basically the fractions and its interpretations for. Right, so this is our B1 value and B2 value, or Q1 and Q2. Q1 is 5 by 7 and Q2 is 2 by 7. So Q1 is 5 by 7 and Q2 is 2 by 7. So which means our formula and these things are really matching. So there isn't any error in the computation, right? And another important thing is that value of the game. So the value of the game you can find in multiple ways, as I told you. Like you can multiply the A11 into this thing plus A21 into this. That will give us a value of the game. Or if you want to take column 2, this one, A12 multiplied by P1, A22 multiplied by P2, that also will give same. If you want to calculate by row wise, like 4 multiplied by 5 by 7 and 7 multiplied by 2 by 7 will also give the same value of the game. Or 6 multiplied by 5 by 7 plus 2 multiplied by 2 by 7 will give us the same value of the game. So that's listed here. So which means the value of the game is 4, 6 by 7. which is pretty much 4.86. So which is also the value we got it using this formula, right? So in examination, you can use any of these approach. You don't have to do both. Like you can use this formula approach or you can use this approach. This is pretty simple in terms of computation, right? So this is a pretty easy method I prefer. But if you are interested in taking a formula, then you can probably take a look at instead of if you have some issues in the finding out this particular stuff or something like that, and you have an iota of doubt like whether my answer is correct or not, so you can prefer formula approach also, where if you write formula correctly, then the results is probably this will not have much errors or something like that. All right, so this is the end of game theory.